Welcome back to the deep dive. We know you want knowledge, you want it deep, and you want it now, so let's get right into it.
Exactly. No fluff, just the core ideas.
Today we're tackling a Neville Goddard lecture. This one's from April 7th, 1969, and it's called Outer World Responds to Imaginal Acts.
hmm And our mission really is to get under the hood of what Goddard was saying about imagination. How powerful he thought it was, how it connects to, well, everything you see around you.
Right. He leans heavily on this Blake quote, doesn't he? All that you behold, though it appears without, it is within, in your imagination.
Of which this world of mortality is but a shadow. Yeah, that's the bedrock. The idea that the outside world is just a reflection, a shadow of what's going on inside your head, in your imagination.
So we're going to unpack that, see what it really means, and maybe some of the surprising places he takes it.
Definitely surprising.
Okay, so this shadow world idea, Goddard's main point seems to be, well, if you imagine something, and I mean really imagine it, believe it.
Feel it as real now.
Exactly. Then the outer world
Yeah.
just sort of shifts to match. It responds.
It has to. That's his core assertion. And he brings in the Bible here, Acts 13.22, the bit about David.
Ah, yes. I have found in David, the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart who will do all my will. Familiar verse.
Very, but Goddard's interpretation is, well, it's pretty unique. He's not just talking about the historical King David.
No. So who is David then, in his view?
David is the outer world responding. David is the manifestation of your imaginal act. When you imagine and you persist, the world rearranges itself. That's David doing God's will, which is your imaginal will.
Wow, okay. So David isn't a person out there, necessarily, but the phenomenon of the world mirroring your inner state.
Precisely. It's not about gritting your teeth and forcing things, sheer willpower. It's about that inner state of knowing, that conviction, that persistent imaginal state. Exactly. And when you get that, you start to realize, as Goddard puts it, that the Lord isn't some external deity. It's your own wonderful human imagination.
Right. The creative power is within. And David is the proof, the effect.
David is the effect, the confirmation, the outer world acting in accordance with your inner imaginal activity.
Okay, let's add another layer. He talks about eternity, doesn't he? The Hebrew concept.
Yeah, this is fascinating. He points out that for ancient Hebrews, history wasn't just one event after another. It was more like all generations, all experiences, all bundled together.
Fused into one thing.
Kind of, yeah. Fused into eternity. He quotes Ecclesiastes. God has put eternity into the mind of man, but so that man cannot find out what God has done from the beginning to the end.
So eternity is in us, but we can't quite grasp the whole picture.
Right, and here's the kicker. Goddard highlights that the Hebrew word translated as eternity, olam, can also mean the world.
Okay.
And wait for it. It can also be translated using titles associated with David, like the youth, the stripling, the young man.
No way. So eternity, the world, and David are all linked by the same word.
Linguistically, yes, according to Goddard's interpretation. His point is that this vast sum of all human experience, this eternity or world that's within us, in the end, it gets personified.
As David.
As a single eternal youth named David. It's like the totality of everything collapses into this one figure you eventually meet.
That's a mind-bending idea. The whole of human history condensed into one young man.
It is. And that's who you encounter, he says, at the culmination of your own spiritual journey.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. The empty tomb. John's Gospel. Peter goes in.
Right, John 20, Peter sees the linen cloths lying there.
But the napkin, the one that was on Jesus' head, isn't with the linen cloths. It's rolled up separately.
Seems like a tiny detail, maybe insignificant. But for Goddard, huge symbolic meaning.
What does he make of it? The napkin.
He focuses on the word itself. He says that in that time, napkin could also mean the placenta. The afterbirth.
The placenta. Seriously?
Yeah. So seeing the linen clothes, the body's wrappings, separate from the rolled up napkin, the placenta, for Goddard, that screams birth.
But not a normal birth.
Exactly. Not the physical birth described in Matthew or Luke. This is a birth from above, a spiritual emergence happening within.
So it's symbolic of waking up from the physical, not just coming into it.
That's the idea. It's a different kind of birth altogether. He brings in Blake again here, too.
Ah, Blake. What does he say?
Blake wrote something like, God himself entered death's door with those who enter and lays down in the grave with them, until they awake and see Jesus and the linen clothes lying which the females had woven for them.
Okay, so God goes into the grave, our human experience with us.
Yes. And the females weaving the linen clothes represent the mother, The physical birth process. The linen clothes are the physical body.
And Mary, in this context, Goddard says she represents the skull.
Yeah, the skull. The tomb, but also the womb for this spiritual birth. It's where God, which is imagination, enters and eventually awakens.
So the tomb story isn't just about Jesus long ago. It's about us. Everyone.
That's his central message. It's a blueprint for everyone's spiritual journey. God actually became as we are, that we may be as he is. He enters us, our consciousness, our skull.
And our imagination is that God power within, creating our reality, the good and the bad.
Everything. Wars, peace, famine, abundance. It all stems from collective and individual imaginal acts. God playing all the parts within us.
And when these imaginal acts manifest externally,
Yeah.
through people or events,
Those people, those events, they are David in that moment. They are the outer world responding to your inner imaginal activity.
fulfilling the will of your imagination.
Exactly. And the ultimate endpoint, he says, is that you, the individual consciousness, will finally come face to face with this personification of all your manifested experiences. David. And David will recognize you. He will call you Father.
Signifying
What?
that you were the source all along.
That you are the source, the creator, that you finally realize you are the God who imagined the whole thing into being. It's the completion of the journey.
This ties into that Revelation quote too, right? I, Jesus, tell you, I am the root and the offspring of David.
Precisely. Goddard interprets this as, I, the creative imagination, God, am the root, the source of all manifestation, David. But because I entered my creation and experienced it, I am also the offspring, the result of that journey through manifestation.
So God creates humanity, then becomes human, enters the creation.
Yes. He imagines these forms, humanity, and then descends into them, animates them with the breath of life, the I am.
Playing all the parts.
Playing unnumbered parts, as Goddard says, experiencing everything from the inside, like an actor completely lost in the roles.
Until the awakening, the emergence.
Right. It's like that seed metaphor from John.
Yeah.
Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it bears much fruit. God dies by becoming limited in human form.
To eventually bear fruit as countless awakened beings who realize their divinity.
Exactly. And that core divinity, that spark, is present whenever you say or feel, I am. That is God within you. That's the creative power.
Which brings us right back to the world as a mirror. Whatever you assume, whatever you imagine and feel as real.
The world has to reflect it back to you. It makes visible what you're doing internally with your imagination.
So it doesn't matter who the person is on the outside, boss, stranger, friend, if they are sacking out your assumption.
In that moment, Goddard would say, they are David. They are the objective world confirming your subjective imaginal state.
The key is understanding that your imagination is the cause. It's not random.
Not at all. Your imaginal acts are the causal power. And again, drawing on that Hebrew idea of fused history, all these responses, all these Davids throughout your life merge into that one figure you meet at the end.
Okay. So concepts like being born again or resurrection, they're not future events necessarily, but potential inner experiences.
Very much so. Remember Nicodemus asking Jesus how an old man can enter his mother's womb again?
Yeah, he took it literally.
Right. And Goddard says Jesus was talking about being born from above, an awakening within consciousness, within the skull, the symbolic womb tomb.
It's all one being, one imagination, playing every single part in this grand drama.
That's the ultimate vision. One divine imagination entering these dead forms, our bodies before the I am animates them, living through them, experiencing limitation.
Then and then awakening, emerging from above, leaving the linen clothes, the physical body limitations, and the napkin, the placental connection to that limited state behind.
And realizing, I am he. Jesus Christ for Goddard is simply the name for your own wonderful human imagination fully awakened. We are all destined to reach that realization. Collectively, we are the one Lord God.
So, okay, this is deep. But how does someone listening right now actually use this? What's the practical application?
It's straightforward, though maybe not easy. He basically says, try it, test it, decide what you want, then assume the feeling of having it already.
Don't just wish for it, but feel like it's a done deal.
Exactly. Mentally live from the state of the wish fulfilled. Persist in that assumption.
Yeah.
Feel the relief, the joy, the security of it being real now.
And if you do that consistently,
the outer world, David, will have to conform. It will respond. Events will unfold. People will act in ways that bring your assumption into objective reality.
But he cautions against trying to hold on to it using only external means, right? Like if you manifest money, don't just rely on locking it in a vault.
Right. The real security is maintaining the state in imagination. The outer is just the shadow. Hold the feeling of abundance, the assumption of security within you. That's the source.
What about conflicts? Like, what if I imagine being CEO, but someone else imagines they'll be CEO?
Ah, good question. Goddard circles back to the oneness. There's only one God, one I am. When you truly grasp this, you understand that others are also reflecting imaginative activity.
So believing someone else has the power to thwart my imagination is basically dividing my own power, giving it away.
Precisely. You're creating that conflict within your own consciousness by believing in competing powers outside of the one I am. He shares that story about the woman.
The one who wanted a specific married man.
Yeah. She imagined being happily married. She was fixated on him. But eventually, she let go of the specific person while holding the state of being happily married.
And she ended up happily married to someone else who was perhaps more appropriate.
Exactly. The state was the important thing. Her imagination delivered the essence of her desire, not necessarily the exact form she initially demanded. The outer world found the path of least resistance to fulfill the feeling.
That makes sense. Focus on the end feeling, the state, not micromanaging the how or who.
That's the idea. This also leads to his advice on judgment.
Right. Don't judge or condemn others.
Because judgment is an imaginal act. If you condemn someone in your imagination, you're essentially creating that reality, and it will likely reflect back onto you somehow. The world is yourself pushed out.
He uses that example about land ownership, doesn't he? Tracing it back.
Yeah, how almost all land, if you go back far enough, probably involves some kind of theft or conquest. It illustrates how interconnected and morally complex things are. Judging others misses the bigger picture. That ultimately, everyone is a son of God. Everyone is that divine imagination playing a part, even the ones we see as villains or monsters.
He believed even they would be redeemed, awakened.
Yes, because their actions, however terrible, were ultimately responses within the larger dream, the collective imaginal activity. Everyone eventually awakens to their true nature.
That's a very encompassing view of redemption. He also talks about fear, how imagination works both ways. The medium who predicted disaster.
Oh, yeah. The story of the great medium forecasting California sliding into the ocean. She believed it so strongly.
And then she died suddenly herself.
Exactly. Illustrating the immense power of belief, of imagination, even when focused on fear. What you intensely expect tends to manifest. Job's story, too.
The thing I greatly feared has come upon me.
Right. Job's fears were imaginal acts that brought about his suffering. But through it all, he eventually had that direct realization of God within him. He says, I had heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees thee. He found the cause within.
So wrapping this up, the core takeaway from Goddard here seems crystal clear.
It really is. Your own consciousness, your wonderful human imagination, is the creative power of the universe. It's God in action, right here, right now, in you.
It's the key to everything you experience.
Absolutely. It's the power you use, consciously or unconsciously, every moment of every day.
So the invitation is, well, start using it consciously. Experiment. See what happens when you deliberately choose your inner states.
Put it to the test. Assume the reality of your desire and see how the shadow world responds.
And maybe the final thought to leave people with is, if your imagination really is the source, the only source, what world are you choosing to build inside yourself right now?
That's the question, isn't it? What reality are you imagining and therefore experiencing next? It's quite the rabbit hole to explore.
Definitely. Plenty to think about there. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this deep dive too.